All right, man. So here it is. This is the Funemployment podcast.
First ever
Funemployment podcast. First episode ever that we were recording. So you guys are probably wondering, okay, what's this all about? What are these two doofuses going to talk about now? So the Funemployment podcast is essentially about Christine Chen, my co-host of the Funemployment podcast. She wrote and directed a feature, very first feature, right?
Yes, very first.
Very first feature called Funemployment, and it was written by you and
Dano Siddiqui and Larissa Garcia. Yeah.
There you go. So what we are basically is we're going to be talking about the Funemployment movie in of itself. Also, what we're going to talk about is being funemployed.
The lifestyle
of being funemployed. The lifestyle of basically saying, you know what, man, I'm going to do the thing that I want to do, and I really don't care about what other people think.
F the rest.
I might not make any money. I probably won't for a while, but I'm going to do stuff that I love to do. So we're just going to jump in on it. Cool?
Sure.
Sweet. Let's do this shit. So... What?
Funemployment.
So let's talk about the moment for you, because you went to college at Rice University.
That's
right?
Correct. Yes.
Cool. And how long were you already there in Rice?
So I went to Rice for 4 years. Yes.
Okay, man.
Yeah. So
And
graduated.
What was your major for that?
I switched around, so yet another Funemployment thing. I thought I wanted to be a doctor. I went in being a biochemistry major up to my junior year. And then I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I really loved anything with art. But I knew that I couldn't just major in art without getting some serious...
But filmmaking wasn't in your...
Yeah, well, it wasn't, yeah. I just knew that I loved doing stuff with art, and that I couldn't major in art, I would get some major family repercussions. So
right.
So I was like, okay, well, I'll do at Rice there's no minors, so I'll do a major in art, but I'll also do these majors as well. So I ended up with an economics, management, and visual arts degree.
Wow.
So yeah.
And you've done that for 3 years?
Well, I mean, I graduated in 4 years.
You graduated in 4
right.
years.
I graduated in 4 years,
Okay.
but I was a biochemistry major up to my junior year. So I was essentially, I have credits to, if I added like a few more classes, I would also have a biochemistry major.
Wow.
As well. Yeah.
And then, so from biochemistry, that's when there was a moment, and I remember you talking about this on set once, where there was a moment in between that time where you started doing, where you were in the film industry and you were still in college. There was that one job that you got from a teacher.
Sure, yeah. So it was actually after I graduated.
Yes.
I knew that I really loved films when I took my first official film class, which was a documentary 101 class, basically. And I somehow, it's funny, I look at this, I'm like, man, I had really great luck, and I just never knew this. But I took one documentary film class, and the school coincidentally was funding documentaries made by students in a different language as a way to teach people the language plus the culture of that country.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so they did one
documentary style?
Documentary style.
Wow.
So I had two friends. One of them did one in France, Jonathan Polans, who later actually ended up was able to work with, and we collaborated on stuff. And then I don't know. And then there was another person who did one in Spain, and they were looking for someone who could speak Mandarin. And I speak Mandarin. They're like, we need a Mandarin-speaking filmmaker. And I was like, I took one class. I am totally a filmmaker. So yeah, so I applied. I'm sure there are not that many men at that time, which was 2003. There was probably not a lot of Mandarin-speaking documentary filmmakers, and I got to spend a whole month in Lijiang, China, and made the documentary and loved it. So I knew I loved. That was the one class that I would spend pretty much all my time in, and then 30% would be like all my 10 other classes.
Oh my God, really? Wow.
So I knew I loved it, but it wasn't until I had a real job. I had a real job for like 3 years. What
was your real job?
I was a IT consultant. Yes.
For a company?
Yes.
What company?
Hitachi Consulting was one of them, and then Quorum or something. It was a really tech-based. We did ERP consulting, Oracle, SAP type stuff. But
that was a nice cushiony job.
It was great. It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And what it did allow me to do was travel, so I got to travel a lot. But I was really lost, and of course, like all lost people, you immediately think, oh, I'm just going to get another degree. And I thought, hey, I'm going to be a lawyer because...
Because more people need lawyers.
Because, that's why, because.
To get them out of jails.
Because it seemed like a great idea. And to get into law school, you had to take the LSATs. And so I took a class, an LSAT class, and coincidentally my LSAT professor was a filmmaker. And he was participating in Houston's 48-hour film festival. He was like, hey, do you want to come on and be, man the slate? At that time, I didn't know what that meant at all. Like, when you do documentary filmmaking, it's just you and one camera, and there are no, ACs, there's no AD, there's no positions, it's just you. So I got on set, and I was just a deer, in headlights, but it was the most coolest thing ever. I got to do this thing. I was like, oh my God, I'm this girl. I'm just, now I'm like, oh, I was the second AC kind of PA thing.
Oh, you were just a hybrid of so many positions.
Yeah.
Well, because this is guerrilla filmmaking, right? This is a, like, let's just shoot shit and just fucking go. It's 48 hours.
Yeah, but I fell in love with it. And I just it just a light bulb clicked, and I was like, of course, I'm just gonna be a filmmaker because that's hard, right? Like I didn't.
So after that project, was that the moment where you're like, all right, man, I need to pursue this, like pedal to the metal. I gotta go for it.
Totally. But I had another problem, which was I needed to figure out a way to pursue it without letting my parents figure out that
oh shit, yeah, because
was going to pursue it.
They spent the money on you.
I'm supposed to be the doctor.
You're supposed to be the doctor,
I'm supposed to be the lawyer.
Uh-huh.
Not a filmmaker that makes no money. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. Yeah. And so I was like, how do I do this without my parents thinking I'm the biggest bum in the world? So I was like,
you could be their lawyer after they kill you.
After I kill you. So I was like, I have a great idea. I am going to go to business school. Because my logic was...
I didn't know that, actually.
If I go to business school, I can at least use that as a backup plan. And
because business is universal. You can take that anywhere.
And if I'm going to survive making films, I might as well have like a production company or something. So I'm sure whatever I learned in business school can probably translate to that. And I was really strategic about applying to schools that were connected to really good film schools. Right. And so I ended up going, University of Texas has a really amazing film department. And so I basically utilized my 3 electives and just took them all at the film school.
Just at the film school, wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of my in to film stuff. Right. Was I basically hung out at the film department area oftentimes more than I did at my own.
Learning one thing at a time.
Yeah, by myself. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how it went. And by going to business school, I kind of had a 2 years get out of society for a lot of money card. Yeah. But like at least I knew like, hey, my rent was paid for, because it's part of your tuition thing. And I knew that like I didn't have to work to survive. Like I'm on loans. I'm just on loans and things are great. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
I'm just gonna keep applying for loans.
No, just loans and everything are great. So it was like
my credit looks real bad, but
yeah, but it was just 2 years of just like I could reinvent myself basically. And so I
did.
Yeah, I used that time and I basically just made a lot of. I started in sketch comedies actually. So really? YouTube stuff, yeah. So when the whole YouTube, because YouTube blew up, I think in
2005?
2005. Yeah. So that was when I was in business school.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
It was all about let's go viral.
Yeah.
And so I just made a bunch of sketch comedy things
And that was the hub, like over 10 years ago, was YouTube.
Yes.
If you guys are young audience members who don't remember anything older than 2005,
What's YouTube? Just
what's a
kidding.
YouTube? Basically, like here's the deal, man. Like 10 years ago, this was like the hub for people who just want to do guerrilla filmmaking and just want to get their shit out there.
Yeah. Now it's just cats.
Now it's just cats. Now it's just basically Ellen DeGeneres.
And cats and dogs.
And
It's okay. I
cats.
spend lots of hours watching cats.
Basically,
And dogs.
but back in the good old days, that happened. Like you can actually you can collect a bunch of people because that's what I did in high school.
Okay.
It was just an inspiration from that. Was we were able to just like take inspiration from that and be like,
You made
fuck,
something.
we can do this.
Yeah, you could put it out and somebody's gonna watch it and then
Exactly.
give us a studio deal.
And that was a resurgence back in the day. So you took that and ran with it.
I ran with it, yeah.
So how many episodes? Like how many sketch
We made
episodes?
a lot of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, we made.
Under your
you
channel?
You can find it if you just go to YouTube. I had my own personal channel back then. If you just go look for youtube.com/CCHEN428, you'll find all the old stuff that like nobody really knows about because I don't really tell people about it. Where I was like really.
We should probably write that
shitty.
down
You guys
somewhere.
are like, sweet. Let's see how awful this stuff
That
is.
website was talked way too fast. I don't know if anyone got that. We'll put that in
Yeah,
post.
but like, yeah, we made stuff on that, and then I started to think about branding. Like, if I want to have a company that people take me seriously, they probably
Absolutely.
don't want to see like shitty,
You got something to back you up.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so then I started making and branding myself as Moth the Flame, and then I had a separate channel that was like serious stuff and commercial work and
Absolutely.
whatever and stuff. But yeah, I just started running with it.
And that name came upon you.
So Moth the Flame came up. So it actually came a little earlier. In 2008, we had this fun idea to be like, hey, let's try to make a TV pilot. It never finished. But what did come out of it was I met a lot of cool people, and also my name, Moth the Flame. The guy who I'm still really good friends with, John Hale, was my DP. He's like, hey, what's your logo going to be for the, produced by, in production,
Right.
in association with? And I was like, so I went back and I was like, okay, what?
Shit, I need to make something.
Yeah, I need to make something. I was like, what do I want for my company name? And everything I wanted was taken, basically. So that was great. I thought I was like, I want something that describes how I feel about filmmaking and like what the process of filmmaking is like. So I looked up like, I think Enigma was one, Jigsaw was one, and some other like shitty names. And no
Jigsaw
offense.
would have been pretty metal.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would have been pretty dope.
But I felt with Moth the Flame because Janet Jackson has a song and it's like a moth to flame.
That's right.
Yeah, and I was like, yes, because I was like, that's me. Like I'm trying to go to the flame for the next big idea, and then I want people to follow my stuff like a moth to flame. Yes.
On that Janet Jackson hype.
Yes.
But so Moth the Flame then came about. Then it came to be. So right after Moth the Flame, what happened?
Moth the Flame never ended.
It never ended.
Yeah, Moth the Flame just kept going. And Moth the Flame started off with literally just me. And I would just make stuff by myself. So it was a lot of, taking a camera, going out and being like, hey, let's just shoot this thing and see what happens. And then practice. It was a lot of practice. It was like, I had my whole class, my whole MBA class, free labor, who were just excited to be on camera. And I was like, all right, you guys do this. I wrote this script.
Wait,
blah,
they
blah,
were
blah.
just like, they signed up for it? They were like,
Well,
let's do it.
Most people thought I was crazy first.
Yeah, that's a
They were
little-
like, what class are you making this for? I was like,
Nothing
just
for me.
Just for fun. Yeah. They're like, okay. But, there were a few that like got it. They're like, yeah, let's, I want to make stuff too. So,
That's cool, man.
Yeah, my friend, Carlos Dinkins, David Isquig, they all were my first skits basically. And then from there, started to realize, hey, if I want to expand on the stories and stuff, I need to bring in more people or just that's how it grows. You start off and I had some interns who were like, oh, I want to learn about film. I was like, I don't know if I'm the person to learn that from, but sure, you want to be here.
Let's just try.
Yeah, let's try. That's Kelly was one of them.
Right on.
My art director, Kelly Penna, production designer. She started and she just never left. Yeah. She just never left.
Just stuck around.
I guess that's good. You know, I'm doing something that she feels like is worth her time. And
you both met where?
Yeah, she when I was going to business school.
When you were going to business school, right.
One of my interns, because coincidentally, one of my friends at business school was friends with her current husband's brother. And yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah. Boyfriends, neighbors, lawyers, cousins,
something
second
like that.
wife,
Yeah.
twice removed. So, right, that makes sense, man. That's awesome. So then once once you have that brand, you started making something. So Funemployment then came about when? Yeah.
So Funemployment came because...
And this was your original idea?
It was not.
Okay.
So, but Funemployment has morphed significantly. So what had happened was I took a graduate level screenwriting class. That was one of my electives that I was allowed to take.
Right.
And I was like, most of those students have been writing forever, and they had like 5-10 different scripts. They were all like workshopping, and I had no script. And I was like, I need to have a script. My friend Daniel Siddiqui had sent me this giant, I think it was like 250, it was stupid. It was like 250 pages. That's like for a script, which is like stupid. So
was it too long for a script?
Yeah, a typical script is 100, like a 9 pages.
Wow. Yeah.
That would have been like a 3-hour movie.
So he just overdid it.
He overdid it. He wrote this thing.
He wrote Lord of the Rings.
And I saw it, and the concept was there, but it was the idea of a dude who didn't like his job,
right,
and decided to pursue other things. That completely, obviously, morphed significantly. But I took that and workshopped it in the thing.
Right.
I had the worst script by far. Let's just be real. Like,
and this is the
everybody's
first
stuff.
draft,
This is my first draft. And finally, just working through it, took the essence of it and pretty much rewrote it, basically.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that is similar to that first script at all. I rewrote it because right after I graduated, I moved in with my really good friend Suma, and I knew that I was going all in to Mouth of Flame, and therefore wouldn't have any kind of income. Therefore, I downsized significantly, and I moved into her dining room, basically, right next to the kitchen. And when we were watching a movie, and those, you know, if you're there early at AMC or something, there's always trivia that plays.
Right.
And one of the trivia things was like, so-and-so lived in somebody's closet. It was like George Clooney or something. And she started laughing. I was like, Suma, you know, I'm living in your dining room. It's like not that much better. And we just started burst out laughing. And then I was like, wouldn't it be funny if a group of people just all moved in together and tried the whole Funemployment thing? And that was a huge common thread, especially when I went to business school, because a lot of people were trying to do their startups, were trying to get big ideas, and everybody wanted. It was cool to be poor. It's cool to be poor.
Which, ladies and gentlemen, is the main plot.
Yeah,
of the
in
film.
Austin, it is. In Austin, it's like like I live for like $300
Nothing
for
but
rent,
startup
and
companies.
so it was like startups are a cool thing, and I loved the vibe of it, and I was so deep in the startup community because so many of my friends were trying to start companies, and so it's a whole different culture, and I was fascinated about it, and that's what ended up being what Funemployment the movie is about. So it's Austin's startup life, basically.
So you essentially took something that was primarily nothing, and then it was just kind of like a fun idea.
Yes.
That was just a really fun idea of just like going for what you think is gonna scare you.
Yeah.
And then you just say, fuck it, let's just do it.
Let's just do it, yeah. And a lot of it was, I heard that to be a legitimate filmmaker, you had to make a feature film, basically. And I was like, well...
Most would say, yeah.
I haven't made any shorts or anything, but like Robert Rodriguez made his feature
for $7,000.
I was like, I can totally do it. Yeah, so I was like, I can totally do it. So then
That's how I felt about Clerks too.
yeah.
Watching
So I was like,
Kevin
I can
Smith's
totally
flick,
do that. And so why is is filmmaking hard?
Yeah.
And so
It's not, clearly. You just put a camera in someone's face
and
and
it
they
doesn't look good.
say lines and that's
It's
it.
really stupid. But I learned so much. But basically, because I made Funemployment, nothing scares me because ignorance is bliss, and we did so many things that right now, if I were to look at the script again, I'd be like, hell no. Like, no, we're not doing 50 different locations. We're not casting 50 types of different people. We're not shooting 3 giant scenes in the water. We're not, there's just so many things that I'm like, this is a stupid, like, why? Why did you do this? Yeah, but it's because of that.
Or the fact that the actor was drinking and driving.
Oh, yeah. So many good
shooting.
ideas. So many great ideas. Yeah, but that's what I love about the film. I would do it all over again because every single scene within the film has a story. And that's what we're gonna do too. We're gonna break down this whole
Every
film.
single scene.
Every single scene, and I'm gonna tell you how it happened, why it happened the way it is, and like all the crap that happened to get that scene the way it is. Because I kid you not, everything that could possibly go wrong in this film went wrong. Like in the middle, even after we finished shooting, there was a point where like my drives died. I lost the whole edit project. Like I had
Wait, what?
Yeah, dude.
The fuck? Wait, just randomly, like
It
you lost your...
corrupted. The whole thing corrupted. It was like, fuck you, I don't want to make this film. Like, this film should not come into existence and just self-destructed.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
You just
To this day, I still don't know. I was so depressed.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
So I took
So
a
you
break.
had to reshoot. How much did
I
you
didn't
film?
have to reshoot. Luckily, I was smart enough to back up everything. I had just had to recut everything I had cut.
See, man, that's filmmaking.
Yeah.
You got to be one step ahead always.
Yeah, dude. But everything. So like we rewrote the entire last half of the film while we were filming, basically. Yeah, it was literally rewritten.
The script was still in process.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like we rewrote. It's got this documentary film style because half the stuff was very documentary-ish.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
which, if you do watch the film, it does have us like. There's a lot of moments where it feels it feels like it's shot like a documentary.
Yeah, because it kind of was because obviously this is a startup thing, so
natural lighting everywhere.
And also I had a plethora of startup events here in Austin, real ones, and I basically was like just threw my actors into these real startup events.
Those are real events too. So
most of them were real events.
You got them sitting in on one of them, right? And it was
there
a real
was several.
pitch.
There was several of them where they just
Right.
basically lied to everybody.
Yeah.
Said that they were making this app, and so.
Well, at the end of the day, some of these startup companies, they're all gonna run a little bit behind, and they're not gonna start up anything. They're gonna just
that's
basically
the world.
fail
That's the world of Funemployment. It's uses
taking that risk, and hopefully there's a reward, or unemployment, actual unemployment.
So that's why I made Funemployment, was to see if I could do it. It's done, and I knew what it was. I knew it was a low budget film, and I knew that it wasn't a Syrian refugee. No, it was not. It's not a film festival film at all. I made it to try to sell it, and
But here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. The film itself. Now, if you haven't watched the movie, what are you doing? Just watch the film. Stop what you're doing. Watch the film. It is a great little flick, and I will say why, because it has so much charm to it. It has a ton of charm, man, because when you watch it, it's almost like as if I'm watching Clerks again, or for you, like probably watching El Mariachi. It's just like, well, fucking A, I can do that. I can absolutely do this. I can, I can write something halfway, shoot it, write the rest of it while shooting it. And if you can do that, then anybody can do that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing in the creative industry, though, is the risk of actually doing it. Mm-hmm. That's the point of it. Of Funemployment is the risk of, you know what?
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. And that's the same thing for every single director, every single writer, they're like, well, I don't know what the fuck this is, but hopefully it makes sense. And some of them won Oscars, some of them just fell flat. And that's kind of the beautiful risk of the film industry. You know, is just doing that.
But I look at it, I'm like, this is not bad.
It's not a bad flick.
It's not bad.
It's not a bad flick.
And I watch it loving and knowing all the memories that were associated with it. And those are the things we're going to tell you about that nobody knows about.
And with those memories, we're going to share not only with Christine, but with also other guests, cast, crew, everyone who's involved in this sweet, sweet, sweet little flick that should be celebrated everywhere, because independent filmmaking, let's be honest, should be celebrated every single fucking day. Always, no matter what. So we're going to break down every single scene of Funemployment with the cast and the crew, and we're just going to have fun with it. There's going to be drinking involved, I hope. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for the next version or episode of the Funemployment podcast.
And make sure to watch the film when it comes out. It's coming out. We will announce the date that it will come out very soon. So keep watching.
Very soon.
Very, very soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hold your breath.
Yes. And if you want to learn more about it, just go to areyoufunemployed.com or go to moththeflamefilms.com and look at all these posters that are probably blurry.
Beautiful posters.
So, bye. And
cut.